Hello, my name is Jim Bratton. We all use hand and power tools on the job. In fact, tools are such a common part of our lives that we often forget that they can pose hazards. Unfortunately, it sometimes takes a serious incident to remind us that tools, no matter how simple they are, can cause severe and even fatal injuries. Whenever we use hand and power tools, we are exposed to the dangers of falling, flying, abrasive and splashing objects, as well as to harmful dust, fumes, mists, vapors, or gases. Types of injuries include cuts, abrasions, punctures, sprains, fractures, bruises, electrical shock, amputations, and in extreme cases, death. These injuries, while potentially devastating, can be prevented. Today we're going to introduce you to the hazards associated with different types of tools and steps you can take to help control or avoid those hazards. By taking appropriate precautions, you can reduce the risk of accidents to yourself and your co-workers. Hand tools are tools that are powered manually. They include anything from axes to wrenches. The greatest hazards posed by hand tools result from misuse and improper maintenance. For example, if a wooden handle on a hammer or an axe is loose, splintered, or cracked, the head of the tool may fly off and strike the user or another employee. If an impact tool, such as a chisel or a wedge, has a mushroomed head, the head could shatter on impact, sending sharp fragments flying toward the user or someone working nearby. It's easy to take hand tools for granted because they're pretty simple implements. However, to prevent accidents, you have to use hand tools safely. First of all, always use the right tool for the job. For example, do not use a wrench as a hammer, pliers as a wrench, a knife as a saw, or a screwdriver as a chisel. Make sure you have the correct size tool for the job task you are performing, such as a correct screwdriver, pliers, wrench, or scissors. Always inspect tools before use. For instance, check the head fastening on hammers. Make sure wood handles of tools are not splintered. And keep impact tools such as drift pins, wedges, and chisels free of mushroomed heads. Remove defective equipment from service and mark as damaged to alert other workers. Always wear appropriate personal protective equipment when using hand and power tools. Safety glasses and gloves can help protect against hazards associated with hand tools. Remember that in some instances, you may have to add PPE, such as face shields, when performing certain operations. Keep cutting tools sharp. Dull tools can cause more hazards than sharp ones. When using saw blades, knives, or other sharp objects, cut away from yourself. Direct the tools away from the aisle areas and away from other employees working nearby. When working around flammable substances, such as flammable gases, highly volatile liquids, or other explosive materials, use spark-resistant tools. Iron or steel hand tools may produce sparks that could be an ignition source. Finally, store tools in a safe place. Many accidents have been caused by tools falling from overhead or by sharp tools carried in pockets or left in toolboxes with the cutting edges exposed. Put the tool away in the proper place after each use and protect or enclose sharp edges or blades to prevent contact. Now let's talk about power tools. Portable power tools are typically grouped according to their power source: electric, pneumatic, liquid fuel, hydraulic, powder actuated, and battery operated. When used improperly, power tools can cause injuries such as electrical shock, burns, cuts, punctures, sprains, strains, fractures, bruises, amputations, and even death. Safe use of power tools, no matter what the power source is, requires some general precautions. Use these safe work practices when using any power tool. Use the right tool for the job. For example, don't force a small tool or attachment to do the job of a heavy-duty tool. This can cause the tool to strain and kick back or break, which may result in injury. Inspect tools for defects or damage before each use. If a tool is damaged or defective, take it out of service and tag it. Do not use. Never use damaged tools. Make sure that you notify your supervisor as well, so that a repair or replacement can be made. Make sure machine guards are in place, properly adjusted, and in working order. Machine guards protect the user from the moving parts of power tools. Never remove a guard when a tool is being used. Verify that safety switches are set and working properly. These include a constant pressure switch or control that shuts off power when pressure is released, a positive on-off switch, or a lock-on control switch. Wear proper apparel for the task. Remove loose clothing or jewelry that may become caught in moving parts. Also, wear appropriate personal protective equipment, safety goggles and/or glasses, and sometimes a face shield as required if there is risk of flying metal particles, dust, shavings, screws, or nails. Safety shoes to protect your feet from dropped tools and parts. Respirators to protect lungs when required. Gloves to protect hands from cuts and punctures, as long as there is no risk of catching them in moving parts or losing control of the tool. And hearing protection to avoid damage from excessive workplace noise or sound. When using power tools, be careful to avoid accidental startup. Do not hold fingers on the switch button while carrying a plugged-in tool. Keep cords and hoses away from heat, oil, and sharp edges. Suspend cords and hoses over aisles where they won't pose tripping hazards. When laying a cord across the floor, tape the cord to the floor or protect it with wooden strips or special raceways. Disconnect cords by grabbing the plug itself and pulling it from the outlet. Avoid yanking the cord to disconnect it from the receptacle. Also, avoid carrying a tool by the cord or hose. When working with power tools, secure work with clamps or a vise, freeing both hands to operate the tool. Practice the principles of ergonomics to lessen the risk of body strain and potential for soft tissue injury. For example, make sure tools are well balanced and fit the hand comfortably. Hold tools in a neutral position. Avoid using tools that are so heavy that they strain the arm and shoulders. Keep good footing and maintain good balance. Avoid overreaching or other movements that place your hands, wrist, or body in awkward positions. And finally, disconnect tools when not using them, such as before servicing and cleaning, and when changing accessories such as blades, bits, and cutters. Store in a safe, dry place when not in use.